50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings. It's the most widely recommended budget rule in personal finance. Elizabeth Warren and her daughter Amelia Tyagi introduced it in their 2005 book, All Your Worth. Since then, it's been repeated by virtually every financial advisor, every budgeting app, and every personal finance article on the Internet. There's just one problem. For the majority of people, it doesn't work. And the reasons why reveal something fascinating about how our brains handle money. Let's start with the most obvious flaw. The rule assumes that 50% of your after-tax income is enough to cover your needs. But data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the median American household already spends 58 to 65% of income on essentials alone: housing, transportation, food, healthcare, and insurance. If you live in New York, San Francisco, Boston, or any major metro area, housing alone can eat 40 to 50% of your income. The Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies reports that nearly half of all renters in the United States are now cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of income just on rent. Add transportation, groceries, and insurance, and you've blown past 50% before you've spent a single dollar on anything you actually enjoy. So what happens? People try the rule, fail immediately, and conclude that they're bad with money. But they're not bad with money. The rule is bad at math. It was designed using income and cost data from 2005. 2 decades later, housing costs have risen 67%, while median wages have risen only 28%. The rule hasn't been updated, but the economy has. Flaw number 2 is more subtle, but equally damaging. The 50-30-20 rule treats all income levels the same. If you earn $35,000 a year, 50% for needs is $17,500. That's roughly $1,458 a month for housing, food, transportation, health care, and every other essential expense. In most American cities, that doesn't even cover rent plus groceries. On the other end, if you earn $300,000, the rule says you can spend $90,000 a year on wants. That's $7,500 a month on discretionary spending. Behavioral economists call this the proportional spending trap. Research by Shlomo Benartzi at UCLA shows that percentage-based rules actually encourage higher earners to overspend while making it mathematically impossible for lower earners to comply. Flaw number 3. The rule completely ignores debt. According to the Federal Reserve, the average American household carries over $100,000 in total debt, including mortgages, student loans, auto loans, and credit cards. The 50-30-20 framework has no mechanism for aggressive debt repayment. If you're paying $800 a month in student loans, does that come from needs, wants, or savings? The rule doesn't say. And this ambiguity causes what psychologists call decision paralysis. When a system is unclear, people default to doing nothing. Flaw number 4, and this is where behavioral science gets really interesting. The rule creates a false sense of permission. The moment you label 30% of your income as money for wants, your brain treats it as pre-approved spending. This is a well-documented phenomenon called the licensing effect. A 2010 study in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who set aside a specific budget for indulgences spent 15 to 25% more on those indulgences than people who had no formal budget category for them at all. The act of creating the category gave the brain permission to fill it. You didn't need that 30% worth of wants before, but now that the category exists, your brain will find ways to spend it. Flaw number 5. The 3 categories are hopelessly blurred. Is your gym membership a need or a want? What about your internet bill? Your phone plan? A slightly nicer apartment in a safer neighborhood? These classification struggles aren't trivial. They drain mental energy. Behavioral economists call this categorization cost. Every ambiguous expense forces a micro-decision, and research by Baumeister and Tierney shows that micro-decisions deplete the same willpower reserves you need for the big financial choices that actually matter. So if the 50-30-20 rule is broken, what actually works? The research points to 3 alternative approaches. Approach number 1, pay yourself first. Instead of budgeting every category, automate your savings and investments on payday, then spend whatever remains guilt-free. This is the system recommended by behavioral economist Richard Thaler, the same Nobel laureate behind nudge theory. His research shows that automation removes the need for willpower entirely, which is exactly why it works. Approach number 2, the anti-budget. Track only one number, your savings rate. If you're saving 20, 25, or 30% of your income, it doesn't matter how the rest is divided. This approach eliminates categorization cost entirely. No more debating whether Netflix is a need or a want. If your savings rate is on target, the rest takes care of itself. Approach number 3, values-based spending. Instead of arbitrary percentages, rank your spending categories by how much genuine happiness they produce. A 2020 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that spending aligned with personal values produced 3 times more life satisfaction than spending equal amounts on categories that didn't reflect personal priorities. Spend more on what matters to you. Cut ruthlessly on what doesn't. No percentages required. Here's the bottom line. The 50-30-20 rule isn't terrible advice. For someone who has never thought about budgeting at all, it's a reasonable starting point. But treating it as a universal law of personal finance is like treating a children's bicycle as a Formula One car. It'll get you moving, but it won't get you where you need to go. The best budget isn't the most popular one. It's the one that fits your income, your debt, your cost of living, and your actual life. And the best financial system is the one you don't have to think about, because it runs automatically. If this changed how you think about budgeting, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every Tuesday and Friday, we break down another money myth using real science. Next up, we're revealing why cutting your daily coffee won't make you rich, and what the research says actually drains your wealth. Link is on screen now.